Speaking of, how did you get into modding for the first time?
Oh,
is that your segue?
Yeah, no, you guys have actually never told me this.
It's a good segue, and we never spoke about this. Actually, I don't remember anybody saying this. Who wants to start?
I guess I will, because I guess mine's kind of simple. I guess I played Skyrim on PS3 for the first, and it was awful. As soon as you get to like level 50 above on PS3 back in the day, I don't know if it's still like this now. It would be the laggiest thing ever. You'd crash all the time. I don't know what was wrong about that platform, but it just didn't work. Yeah, at the time when I was playing it, at least.
Okay.
Yeah. Like when it first came out, it would have been like the first year. It just didn't work once you get to a high level. I think it was just because the game had so much data in a save file that it couldn't figure things out on that system or whatever. So I kind of like had one playthrough on that, and then started moving to Xbox 360. Played a bunch on that because it actually worked. And then I had my first PC, and I remember the first time I actually did modding was the Steam Workshop, because I discovered that, and I was like, what the hell's this? There's like people make things for games, and you could just click them literally by a press of a button. You press literally like activate on the Steam Workshop, and it's just in your game. And I saw a Lord of the Rings weapon pack, and this is the first mod that I ever did. It's the Israel one? Yeah. It's the first mod I ever installed, and I literally remember going through that in my head for the first time now, like going up the 7,000 steps, and then there's like a shrine with a forge, which where you actually get these weapons, and just having like one, new weapons in the first place, and two, like Lord of the Rings weapons, which apart from Sin, we're both like a massive fan of. I was just like, this is the coolest thing ever. It's insane, and that's what I mean when you say you take things for granted. Back then, I was blown away by that. Just like adding new weapons into the game, and to be fair, that's a great mod even now, but especially back then, I was just blown away by that. And I think over time, you get into it on the Steam Workshop, and then you start like looking up videos, and then you realize, oh, the Steam Workshop isn't where actually most people do this. There's an actual Nexus and things like that, and then you just kind of roll from there. But I also remember that same system going for video creation in a way. The first thing I ever got really into doing was taking screenshots of my playthrough. Like, if something really cool was happening, I would like go TFC1 and then take a screenshot of that, and I would do that through my whole playthrough. I'd just tell the story of my playthrough through screenshots. It would just be for me. I wouldn't put them anywhere. But I just thought it was cool to like look back after and remember things.
Hey Dad, look what I did on Skyrim.
Yeah, but I have an awful memory, so I can't like remember everything. I kind of vaguely remember things, but having screenshots there to just go back and just like press backwards and be like, oh yeah, I was there. That was really cool. And then that progressed to me downloading the Take Notes mod, Journal of the Dragonborn, where you can literally write your own story. So every day, once you get back from your adventure, you'd write up, today I did this. And I shit you not, I have thousands of pages of like an actual story that I was like making up. And I did this like multiple times. So it went from just like screenshots to that, and then I started like recording some things. Like I figured out OBS and things like that, and I'd record my own gameplay, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then that obviously led to actual video creation. But that is my whole like modding and video creation sort of origin story.
Yeah, that definitely ties into like what Gim said last episode. Like just the Bethesda games is such a good role-playing experience, man. Like being able to write things down through mods as well, it just enhances that experience. That's such a good point. Bethesda games are like unmatched when it comes to role-playing. Anyway, so Gim, what's your story about the modding?
Dude. So I remember the exact moment I just witnessed the game Skyrim in my life. So when was it? So 2012. I was 11 years old. Remember we were visiting some family friends for dinner, and I usually, so my brother, there was a dude there who was the same age as him, so they went and hung out. I didn't really have anyone, so I was just like, the other guy, my brother's friend, he was always like, oh, just go down and play on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
And so I'd go down, and I always played this Simpsons game. It wasn't good at all. It wasn't the hit and run one, the GTA. You know which one that is? The hit and run. There's like a Simpsons hit and run game that I used to play on the GameCube.
Oh, Simpsons.
That was based.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you said Sims. Sorry, I got confused.
It was basically
Simpsons
like
Hit
a
and Run
GTA.
was fucking lit.
Yeah, it was lit.
Did you play the driving game as well? I don't know what it's called, but there was also like a car one, and that was insane as well.
I don't know.
I can't remember what that one was
But the
called.
one he had was a platformer. It wasn't that good. But I just remember playing it, and all the while I was playing it, there was a cover at the bottom, and it was dark, and it was the Skyrim logo, and it said Skyrim, and I was like, fuck me, that looks good. And it had the age limit of 18 on it as well. So that automatically made me more intrigued to figure out what it
Skyrim
was.
was an 18.
Yeah, it's
You
an
sure?
18. Yeah. At least over here, like the red 18 Peggy thing.
I don't think there's anything like graphic or sexual in it.
There's
though.
blood. There's violence. There's. I don't really look at Peggy's nowadays,
What
but
rating is Skyrim age?
It's 12, I think. Peggy 12.
17 plus 12.
Yeah.
12?
No.
12. They literally discuss like
What was it?
Russian things in it. You don't have
Anyway,
12.
in Norway it's 18. So
Oh, it does actually say 18. Okay, fair enough. I assumed it shouldn't be 18 because like GTA compared to Skyrim is a big jump in graphic and like sexual content. I didn't think that would be the same rate, but okay, it's 18.
I mean, back in the days, if anything, if there was a little bit of violence, they'd put it to 18.
Right.
So continuing on, I memorized the title Skyrim, and I went back home, went to YouTube, looked it up, and I just saw like the episode 1 of some playthrough. And I've probably told you about this, but I just remember seeing. So the dude who was playing in the YouTube video picked an high elf character, and he was a mage. And I just remember seeing the hands in first person, like doing this. I looked at it and like, holy. That's cool. That's epic.
I had the same experience. I watched it was before I even knew what the game was. I saw Tobuscus play it, and I saw the first episode, and I saw him go through like Helgen, and then he came out of Helgen in an open world, and I saw like the hands like that, like you said, like one was like magic and one was like a sword.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, oh, that's I've never seen a game let you just like choose what to put in your hands and like be able to do anything with it. And then I
And
bought
the
it
hand
literally
was
the
like
next day.
nice and smooth, and the magic reflected on the surface. And I just remember seeing that and instantly going to my just memorizing it. And the next time I went shopping with my mom, I got her to buy it for me. And so this was on the Xbox 360, by the way. So that was my first venture into Skyrim. So I played that day, and I probably had so many hours on that until I got myself a gaming laptop.
Oh, you
and
went
I
straight
started-
into it.
Yeah, this was like 2 years after, so 2013 I got a gaming laptop.
Oh, you was
which
early
is-
into it then, yeah.
Which is not something I recommend for anyone to do. It's a shit experience, it really is.
Yeah.
But, and at the same time I was watching, obviously I was watching MXR. There was another guy who I hate that I've forgotten his name, but at that time they made the exact same videos. They had the same monotone voice. But the other guy was like, do you remember how people were kind of a part of, what was it,
Machinima, yeah.
Machinima. So they made like videos on behalf of them or something. They had some sort of deal. So there was a guy who did that at the same time as MXR. I forgot his name, but I
I'm
watched
sure
those.
someone in the comments will know who we're talking about, hopefully,
Yeah.
and then we can have a look.
So you can imagine a 12, 13-year-old boy seeing all these, mods, seeing these, whoa, these NSFW things.
Was MXR doing that type of stuff back then?
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he was.
I didn't know if he went into that because he ran out of stuff to cover, or
no.
or
That-
that
that-
was what he wanted.
That was just a part of what there was to cover, and so I was like, holy shit, what's this website Nexus? And I went to it and I was just like flabbergasted. And I remember downloading mods for the first time without like thinking about everything just crashing. And then I started watching just guides. So by like late 2014 I knew like how to mod. So from
I'll
that
be honest,
point on-
I didn't really, and this is embarrassing to say, I didn't really know how to mod until I met Sin. Like, I knew just to install things
Yeah.
on Nexus. I
You
didn't
used
know
to-
really about load orders. I didn't know about
Yeah.
like patching or anything like that. I didn't know about conflicts really. Anytime
You
there was a
used
conflict in
what was the thing you used? The Nexus mod
Vortex.
manager, right? Yeah, Vortex.
yeah, I used Nexus
remember
Mod
you-
Manager first, and then Vortex when it came out.
I remember like talking to you about what was the best thing, and you were like, no, it's so much like easier. I can just
Yeah.
put it there and it sorts it out itself. I don't need like 1,000 plugins.
Yeah, because I didn't understand. Like, this is my modding experience before I started like YouTube and then actually getting into the community itself. Because I was just like, I wasn't really a part of a community. I wasn't looking at videos that much. I wasn't like looking at Nexus comments or anything like that, unless I had a problem that I needed to find an answer to. But it would literally be, I would have one playthrough, which I would start. By the way, do not recommend. Don't take this as advice. I would start with basically just like no mods on, and then I would like put an EMB on, and then put a few mods on, and then every like day on the same playthrough, I would add a few more mods on. So I was on one playthrough, building my mod list and also playing, and you can imagine how glitchy and bad and how many crashes I got and how many save games I had to uncorrupt. Yeah, that was my experience for basically all of modding, and even up when I was making like my first videos. Like, my recommendations are a little bit better now, but like, back in the day I would just recommend mods that would just not work with each other, and I just thought they did because I don't understand anything. I was just like, yeah, use this, and then someone in the comments would be like, yeah, they're incompatible, and I'm like, no, they're not, I used them. And I used them to make the video, but I didn't like play anything.
Did you also have the humbling experience of not knowing like the limit of mods you could use in correlation to the hardware you had? So I had the laptop, right? But I was downloading everything like 4K texture this, 4K texture that.
That's what I did
grass
as well, yeah.
density. and I remember my like at one point I had 19 frames per second. I just remember my laptop, it was literally melting. It was so hot. It was like a fat gaming laptop as well, one of those Republic of Gamer ones from Asus.
Right.
And I just remember that thing. I think modding with that laptop destroyed that laptop for me. Like, I remember one of the fans stopped working while I was playing Skyrim. But you gotta appreciate that hardware, man. That's what.
It's how you learn, man.
In.
You know, through just like pushing the limits. That's what we talked about last episode as well. I remember when Bernsey, you said that. Like, I remember like me and you just met and we were just like chatting and all that. And I'm having this problem. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I did wrong. And he boots up his screen share, right? And I see his mod list, and it's just complete chaos. And I'm like, why is this above this? Why is this here? It's like, okay, what do I do? It was just an absolute chaos.
I wasn't even on Mod Organizer until you moved me on there. But it took a while to get me on there as well. I was like, no, Vortex is just so... No, I know what I'm doing on there. I didn't. I know.
You didn't want to budge at all, but eventually you changed your mind and you learned pretty fast, which was, I guess, you know...
Yeah, because I actually got into it. I got the itch of like, oh, I actually like figuring out this stuff now.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was... Because I think it was more so that at the time, I wanted to play the game, and now I want to install mods. Yeah. You don't get to play the game and install mods. That doesn't work. Anyone will know.